The clock on the wall showed 2:30 p.m. when Maya finished cleaning table 15 for the third time that day. Her feet were already aching in her worn-out sneakers, but she still had 4 hours left on her shift at Golden Spoon, one of the fanciest restaurants in downtown. The lunch crowd was finally thinning out, and Maya could feel her shoulders relaxing for the first time since she clocked in at 10 a.m. Maya had been working at Golden Spoon for almost 3 years now. It wasn't her dream job, but it paid better than most places, especially with the tips from wealthy customers who barely noticed when they left a $20 bill on a $100 meal. She needed every penny. Between her community college classes, her little brother's medical bills, and helping her mom with rent, there was never enough money to go around. The restaurant was the kind of place where everything sparkled. Crystal glasses caught the light from expensive chandeliers, and the marble floors were so polished you could see your reflection. Maya sometimes felt out of place in her simple black uniform among all the luxury, but she'd learned to move through the dining room with confidence. She knew which fork went where, how to pronounce the fancy French dishes, and most importantly, how to be invisible when rich people wanted to have private conversations. On this particular Tuesday, the lunch service had been busier than usual. A group of business executives had taken up the large table by the window for 2 hours, discussing some million-dollar deal while Maya kept their coffee cups filled. At another table, an elderly woman in pearls had sent her soup back twice because it wasn't hot enough. Maya had smiled and apologized both times even though the soup was steaming. But now, as the afternoon settled in, only a handful of tables were still occupied. Maya was grateful for the slower pace. She could finally take a proper breath and maybe even grab a quick snack from the kitchen. Her stomach had been growling for the past hour, but she hadn't had a chance to eat anything since her rushed breakfast of toast and coffee at 7 a.m. That's when she noticed the young woman at table 12. The woman looked to be around Maya's age, maybe early 20s. She was wearing clothes that probably cost more than Maya made in a month, a cream-colored cashmere sweater and designer jeans that fit perfectly. Her handbag was sitting on the chair next to her, and Maya recognized it as one of those expensive brands she'd seen in magazine ads. Everything about her screamed money and privilege, but something was off. The woman had ordered a Caesar salad and sparkling water almost an hour ago, but she'd barely touched the food. The lettuce was still crisp, the croutons hadn't gotten soggy, and the dressing sat untouched on the side. Maya had checked on her twice, asking if everything was okay with the meal, and both times the woman had smiled and said it was fine. But her smile didn't reach her eyes. Maya had a good eye for reading people. Working in a restaurant taught you to pick up on subtle signs. She could tell when someone was having a bad day, when a couple was fighting, or when a customer was about to complain about something. It was part of the job. But this woman seemed different. She wasn't angry or sad exactly. She looked worried, maybe even scared. The woman kept checking her phone every few minutes, scrolling through messages with a frown on her face. Her leg bounced under the table and she kept touching her chest like something was bothering her. Maya wondered if she was waiting for someone who hadn't shown up, or if she'd gotten bad news in a text message. Maya tried not to stare, but she found herself glancing over at table 12 every time she passed by. The woman's behavior was becoming more unusual by the minute. She'd put her phone down, then pick it up again immediately. She'd take a sip of water, then push the glass away like it tasted wrong. And that hand on her chest, she kept pressing it there like she was checking her heartbeat. "Maya, can you take care of table 7? "They're ready for their check," called out James, the other server working the afternoon shift. Maya nodded and grabbed the leather check presenter, but her eyes drifted back to table 12 as she walked past. The woman was now sitting very still, her face even paler than before. Maya noticed that her breathing seemed different too, shorter, more shallow. It reminded Maya of something, but she couldn't quite place what. After handling table 7, Maya decided to check on the woman again. She approached the table with a fresh pitcher of sparkling water, using it as an excuse to get closer. "How are you doing? Can I get you anything else?" Maya asked, trying to keep her voice light and friendly. The woman looked up and Maya could see that her pupils seemed larger than normal. There was a thin layer of sweat on her forehead despite the restaurant's cool air conditioning. "I'm fine," the woman said, but her voice was slightly breathless. "Actually, could I get some regular water instead? No ice." "Of course," Maya said, noting how the woman's hand was still pressed against her chest. "Are you sure you're feeling okay? You look a little pale." The woman hesitated for a moment like she was deciding whether to say something. I'm probably just tired. I've been having trouble sleeping lately. Maya nodded sympathetically, but something in her gut told her this wasn't just about being tired. She'd seen her younger brother David have anxiety attacks before, and some of the signs were similar. The pale skin, the shallow breathing, the restless behavior, but this seemed more intense than anxiety. I'll get that water right away, Maya said, and if you need anything else, just wave me over, okay? As Maya walked to the service station to get fresh water, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was seriously wrong. The woman's behavior reminded her of something specific, but she couldn't put her finger on what. It was like having a word on the tip of your tongue that you just couldn't remember. When she returned with the water, the woman thanked her quietly and took a small sip. Maya noticed that her hands were shaking slightly as she lifted the glass. Miss, I hope you don't mind me asking, but have you taken any new medication recently? Maya found herself saying. She wasn't sure why she asked, but something made her think of David's allergy to certain medications that had landed him in the emergency room last year. The woman's eyes widened slightly. How did you? Yes, actually. My doctor prescribed something new yesterday for anxiety. Why do you ask? Maya felt her heart skip a beat. What kind of medication, if you don't mind me asking? It's called, The woman fumbled in her purse and pulled out a small prescription bottle. Sertraline, I think? I took my first dose this morning. Maya didn't recognize the name, but the timing made her nervous. And you're feeling worse since you took it? Well, I woke up feeling fine, but about an hour after I took the pill, I started feeling weird. My chest feels tight and I can't seem to catch my breath properly. Maya's stomach dropped. She remembered now what this reminded her of. Last year, when David had his allergic reaction to penicillin, he'd described similar symptoms. The breathing problems, the chest tightness, the pale skin. The doctor had said that medication allergies could be serious, sometimes even dangerous. How long ago did you take the medication? Maya asked, trying to keep the worry out of her voice. The woman checked her phone. About 3 hours ago, I think. Why? Do you think something's wrong? Before Maya could answer, she watched as the woman's face suddenly changed. Her eyes went wide, and she gripped the edge of the table so tightly that her knuckles turned white. Maya watched in horror as the woman's grip on the table tightened. What had started as pale skin was now turning an alarming shade of gray, and her breathing was becoming more labored by the second. I can't breathe properly, the woman gasped, her voice barely above a whisper. Her free hand moved to her throat, and Maya could see panic starting to set in her eyes. Maya's training kicked in immediately. She'd taken a basic first aid course when she started working at the restaurant, but she'd never imagined she'd actually need to use it. Her mind raced through the symptoms she was seeing. Difficulty breathing, pale skin, sweating, and the timing with the new medication. Everything pointed to an allergic reaction and possibly a severe one. Okay, try to stay calm, Maya said, moving closer to the table. I think you might be having an allergic reaction to your medication. We need to get you help right away. The woman's eyes widened with fear. Allergic reaction? But I've never been allergic to anything before. It can happen with new medications, Maya explained, already reaching for her phone. Sometimes your body just doesn't react well to certain drugs, even if you've never had allergies before. Maya dialed 911 with shaking hands. But as she waited for someone to answer, she noticed the woman's condition was getting worse rapidly. Her lips were starting to turn a bluish color, and she was making small wheezing sounds when she tried to breathe. Wanda, what's your emergency? The operator's voice came through clearly. I'm at Golden Spoon Restaurant on 5th Street. I have a young woman here who's having what looks like a severe allergic reaction to medication. She's having trouble breathing and her lips are turning blue. Is she conscious? The operator asked. Maya looked at the woman, who was still gripping the table but seemed to be struggling to stay upright. Yes, but she's getting worse. How long until an ambulance gets here? We're dispatching one now, but with traffic it could be 15 to 20 minutes. Maya felt her heart sink. 15 to 20 minutes felt like forever when someone was struggling to breathe. She looked around the restaurant and noticed that other customers were starting to stare. Some were taking out their phones, probably to record what was happening, which made Maya angry. This woman needed help, not to become someone's social media content. Miss, what's your name? Maya asked, sitting down in the chair across from her. Lily, the woman managed to say between labored breaths. Lily Chen. Okay, Lily, I'm Maya. I'm going to stay right here with you until help arrives, all right? Maya reached across the table and gently took Lily's hand. It was cold and clammy. Can you tell me if you have any other symptoms? Does your skin feel itchy anywhere? Are you feeling nauseous? Lily nodded weakly. My arms. They feel tingly and itchy, and I feel like I might throw up. Maya's worry deepened. These were all signs of a serious allergic reaction called anaphylaxis, something she'd learned about when David had his reaction. She knew that anaphylaxis could be life-threatening if not treated quickly. The ambulance is on its way, Maya said, trying to sound more confident than she felt. But Lily, I'm worried about waiting that long. Do you have anyone who could drive you to the hospital right now? Lily shook her head. I took an Uber here. My car's at home and my mom is in a meeting across town. She won't get my message for hours. Maya looked around the restaurant again. James was busy with other tables and the manager was nowhere to be seen. The other customers were still staring, but none of them seemed inclined to help. Maya realized that in this moment she was the only person who could help Lily. Listen, I have my car here, Maya said, making a decision that surprised even her. I can drive you to the hospital. It'll be much faster than waiting for an ambulance in this traffic. Lily's eyes filled with tears of relief. Would you really do that? But you barely know me. And won't you get in trouble at work? Maya was already standing up and grabbing Lily's purse and phone from the table. Don't worry about that. Let's just focus on getting you better, okay? As Maya helped Lily to her feet, she could feel how unsteady she was. Lily's legs seemed weak and she was leaning heavily on Maya for support. They moved slowly toward the exit, with Maya keeping one arm around Lily's waist to steady her. Maya, where are you going? James called out from across the dining room. Your shift isn't over for another 4 hours. Medical emergency, Maya called back without stopping. I'll explain later. She didn't wait for his response. Right now, getting Lily to the hospital was more important than her job. Even though she knew she might face consequences later, Maya had never left work early without permission before, and she was probably breaking several restaurant policies. But looking at Lily's pale face and hearing her labored breathing, she knew she was making the right choice. Maya's car was parked in the employee lot behind the restaurant. It was a 10-year-old Honda that she'd bought used 2 years ago with her savings. It wasn't fancy like the cars that usually pulled up to Golden Spoon's valet service, but it was reliable, and right now that's all that mattered. As Maya helped Lily into the passenger seat, she noticed that Lily's breathing was becoming even more difficult. She was taking short, rapid breaths and the bluish color around her lips was getting more pronounced. Lily, I need you to try to stay calm, okay? Maya said as she started the engine. Panic can make allergic reactions worse. Just focus on breathing slowly and steadily. I'm trying, Lily whispered. But it feels like there's something blocking my throat. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. Throat swelling was one of the most dangerous symptoms of anaphylaxis. She'd heard horror stories about people whose airways closed completely during severe allergic reactions. Which hospital is closest? Maya asked as she pulled out of the parking lot. Mercy General, Lily said, her voice getting weaker. It's about 15 minutes from here, but Maya, I don't think I can wait that long. Maya looked at Lily and saw real fear in her eyes. Her breathing was becoming more shallow and rapid, and she was clutching at her throat like she was trying to open it manually. Yes, you can, Maya said firmly, pressing harder on the gas pedal. We're going to get you there in time. I promise. Maya had driven to Mercy General before when David had his medical emergency, so she knew the route by heart. But she'd never driven it with someone's life potentially hanging in the balance. Her hands gripped the steering wheel tightly as she navigated through the afternoon traffic, constantly glancing over at Lily to check on her condition. Maya, Lily said suddenly, her voice barely audible, I need to tell you something important. In case something happens to me. Nothing's going to happen to you, Maya said quickly. We're almost there. Please just listen, Lily insisted. My full name is Lily Chen and my mother is Victoria Chen. She owns Chen Technologies. If something happens to me, she needs to know that you tried to help, that you did everything you could. Maya's hands nearly slipped off the steering wheel. Chen Technologies was one of the biggest tech companies in the city. Their logo was on buildings and billboards everywhere. Victoria Chen was famous for being one of the youngest female billionaires in the country. Your mom is Victoria Chen? Maya asked, struggling to process this information while focusing on driving. Yes, Lily said, her breathing becoming more labored. And Maya, I want you to know that what you're doing right now, no one has ever done something like this for me before. Most people, when they find out who my family is, they either want something from me or they treat me differently. But you're risking your job to help a stranger. Maya felt tears pricking at her eyes. You're not a stranger anymore, Lily. And I'm not doing this because of who your family is. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. I know, Lily whispered. That's what makes it so special. As they pulled into the hospital's emergency entrance, Maya could see that Lily's condition had deteriorated significantly during the drive. Her skin was now a grayish-blue color, and her breathing was so shallow that Maya had to lean close to make sure she was still breathing at all. Maya screeched to a halt in front of Mercy General's emergency entrance, her heart pounding so hard she could hear it in her ears. Lily was barely conscious now, her head lolling against the passenger seat headrest. The bluish tint around her lips had spread, and her breathing had become so shallow that Maya had to watch carefully to see her chest rise and fall. We're here. Lily, Maya said, unbuckling her seatbelt quickly. Stay with me, okay? We made it. Maya ran around to the passenger side and carefully helped Lily out of the car. Lily's legs could barely support her weight, and Maya had to practically carry her toward the automatic doors of the emergency room. As they stumbled through the entrance, Maya started shouting for help. Help! I need help over here. She's having a severe allergic reaction. The emergency room was busy with the usual afternoon crowd. A few people were sitting in chairs holding ice packs. Others were dealing with cuts and minor injuries. But when the staff saw Lily's condition, everything changed instantly. A nurse rushed over with a wheelchair. What happened? She asked as she and Maya helped Lily into the chair. Allergic reaction to a new medication, Maya explained breathlessly. She took sertraline for the first time this morning. Her breathing got worse and worse, and now look at her skin color. The nurse took one look at Lily and immediately started pushing the wheelchair toward the treatment area. We need a doctor here now, she called out loudly. Maya tried to follow, but a security guard gently stopped her. I'm sorry, miss, but you'll need to wait out here. Are you family? No, Maya paused, realizing she didn't really know how to explain her relationship to Lily. I'm the one who brought her in. She doesn't have anyone else here right now. A doctor in scrubs appeared and quickly assessed Lily's condition. Maya could see him checking her pulse and listening to her breathing with a stethoscope. His expression was serious, and he started giving rapid instructions to the nurses around him. We need epinephrine immediately, the doctor said, and get me an IV started. This looks like anaphylaxis. Maya watched through the glass doors as the medical team worked on Lily. They gave her a shot that Maya assumed was the epinephrine, and within minutes she could see Lily's breathing becoming less labored. The blue color around her lips started to fade and she seemed more alert. Excuse me, said a woman in a white coat who approached Maya. I'm Dr. Patterson. You brought her in? Yes, Maya said. Is she going to be okay? She should be fine now that we've given her epinephrine. But you got her here just in time. Anaphylaxis can be fatal if not treated quickly. Dr. Patterson looked at Maya with what seemed like admiration. How did you know it was an allergic reaction? Maya explained about her brother's previous reaction and how she'd recognized the symptoms. Dr. Patterson nodded approvingly. Your quick thinking probably saved her life, the doctor said. Most people wouldn't have recognized the signs or acted so quickly. Maya felt a wave of relief wash over her, followed immediately by the realization that she'd just left work without permission to help someone she'd only met an hour ago. Her phone was buzzing with text messages, probably from James or her manager wondering where she'd gone. Can I see her? Maya asked. In a few minutes. We want to monitor her for a bit longer to make sure the reaction doesn't come back. Sometimes people have what's called a biphasic reaction, where the symptoms return hours later. Maya nodded and found a seat in the waiting area. She finally looked at her phone and saw 7 missed calls from the restaurant and a text from James that said, Where did you go? Manager is looking for you. Maya sighed and typed back, Had to rush someone to hospital. Medical emergency. Will explain later. She knew she was probably in serious trouble at work, but she couldn't bring herself to regret her decision. Looking through the glass doors at Lily, who was now sitting up and talking to the nurses, Maya felt certain she'd done the right thing. About 20 minutes later, Dr. Patterson came back out. She's asking for you, she said with a smile. You can go see her now. Maya walked into the treatment area where Lily was lying on a hospital bed, looking much better than she had in the car. Her skin color was back to normal and she was breathing easily. Maya, Lily said, her face lighting up when she saw her. They told me you got me here just in time. The doctor said I could have died if we'd waited for the ambulance. How are you feeling? Maya asked, sitting down in the chair next to the bed. So much better. It's amazing how quickly that medicine worked. 1 minute I felt like I was suffocating, and the next minute I could breathe normally again. Lily reached over and squeezed Maya's hand. I can never thank you enough for what you did. You don't need to thank me, Maya said. I'm just glad you're okay. But I do need to thank you, Lily insisted. And I need to call my mother. She's going to want to meet the person who saved her daughter's life. Maya felt nervous about meeting Victoria Chen, one of the most powerful businesswomen in the city. You don't need to do that. I'm sure she's busy and I should probably get back to work anyway. I left in the middle of my shift. Maya, you saved my life. You think my mother isn't going to want to thank you personally? Lily pulled out her phone. Besides, I already texted her from the car. She's on her way here now? Maya's stomach dropped. She's coming here? To the hospital? Of course she is. When I told her what happened, she canceled all her meetings for the rest of the day. Lily smiled at Maya's nervous expression. Don't worry, she's not scary. Well, she can be scary in business meetings, but she's really nice once you get to know her. Before Maya could respond, there was a commotion in the hallway outside. Maya could hear multiple voices and the sound of heels clicking rapidly on the hospital floor. Through the glass, she saw a group of people in expensive suits walking quickly toward their room. That's her, Lily said, sitting up straighter in bed. The door opened, and Maya's first thought was that Victoria Chen looked exactly like she did in the business magazines, only more intense in person. She was a petite woman in her 50s, wearing a navy blue business suit that probably cost more than Maya's monthly salary. Her dark hair was pulled back in a perfect bun, and she moved with the kind of confidence that came from running a billion-dollar company. But the moment Victoria saw Lily in the hospital bed, all of that businesslike composure melted away. She rushed to her daughter's side with tears in her eyes. Lily, sweetheart, are you all right? Victoria asked, taking her daughter's hand and checking her over with worried eyes. I'm fine. Mom, really. The doctors gave me medicine and I feel much better now. Lily looked over at Maya. But I want you to meet someone very important. This is Maya, the woman who saved my life. Victoria turned to look at Maya for the first time, and Maya felt like she was being studied by someone who was used to evaluating people quickly and accurately. You're Maya, Victoria said, and there was something in her voice that Maya couldn't quite identify. Lily told me what you did, how you recognized what was happening and got her here when she needed help most. I couldn't let her wait for an ambulance when she was getting worse so quickly, Maya said, feeling awkward under Victoria's intense gaze. Most people would have waited, Victoria said. Most people would have followed protocol and let the professionals handle it. But you made a decision that saved my daughter's life. Maya didn't know what to say to that, so she remained quiet. Lily also told me that you left work without permission to help her, that you risked your job for someone you'd just met. Victoria's expression was unreadable. Tell me, Maya, what do you do for work? I'm a waitress at Golden Spoon Restaurant, Maya said. Or at least I was. I'm probably going to be fired for leaving my shift early. Victoria and Lily exchanged a look that Maya couldn't interpret. We'll see about that, Victoria said quietly. Dr. Patterson returned to check on Lily one more time, bringing with her the results of additional tests they'd run, while Maya and Victoria were talking. The good news is that the reaction is completely under control now, Dr. Patterson announced, looking at her clipboard. However, I do want to discuss something important with you, Miss Chen. Victoria immediately stepped closer to Lily's bedside, her business-like focus returning. What is it, doctor? Well, we ran some additional tests to make sure we understood exactly what caused this reaction, Dr. Patterson said. The medication you took this morning, sertraline, is generally very safe. Severe allergic reactions like this are extremely rare. But it did cause the reaction, right? Lily asked, looking confused. Dr. Patterson shook her head slowly. Actually, that's what's puzzling. The blood work shows that you didn't have an allergic reaction to sertraline at all. Maya felt her stomach drop. But then what happened to her? She couldn't breathe, her lips turned blue. Those were definitely the symptoms of anaphylaxis, the doctor confirmed. But they weren't caused by the antidepressant. We found traces of something else in your system, Miss Chen. Something that shouldn't have been there. Victoria's face went pale. What do you mean, something that shouldn't have been there? Dr. Patterson looked uncomfortable. We found evidence of a substance called shellfish protein in your bloodstream. A significant amount, actually. Enough to cause a severe allergic reaction in someone with a shellfish allergy. But I don't have a shellfish allergy, Lily said, looking bewildered. I've eaten shrimp and crab my whole life without any problems. That's just it, Dr. Patterson said. You don't have a shellfish allergy, which means this protein got into your system some other way. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. Are you saying someone put shellfish in her food on purpose? I can't make that determination, Dr. Patterson said carefully. But what I can tell you is that this amount of shellfish protein didn't get into her system naturally. And it's been processed in a way that would make it much more potent than eating regular shellfish. Victoria's expression had gone from worried to furious. Doctor, are you telling me that someone deliberately poisoned my daughter? I'm telling you that Miss Chen ingested a concentrated shellfish protein that caused a severe allergic-like reaction, even though she's not allergic to shellfish. How that happened, I can't say, but I think you should contact the police. Maya's mind was racing. Wait, Lily, what did you eat today? Besides the salad at the restaurant? Just breakfast at home and then the salad, Lily said, looking scared now. But I barely touched the salad. I started feeling weird before I even really ate anything. What about drinks? Victoria asked. Coffee, juice, anything? I had coffee at home and then at the restaurant I ordered sparkling water. Lily paused, thinking. Oh, and I had a smoothie this morning at that new place near campus. Green Valley Smoothies. Maya and Victoria looked at each other. What was in the smoothie? Maya asked. It was their special detox blend. Spinach, apple, banana, and some kind of protein powder. Lily's eyes widened. Do you think it was in the smoothie? Dr. Patterson nodded grimly. That would be my guess. Protein powders can be contaminated with all sorts of things, especially if they're made in facilities that also process shellfish. But this level of concentration suggests it might have been intentional. Victoria was already on her phone. I'm calling Detective Rodriguez right now. This is attempted murder. Maya felt sick to her stomach. She'd thought she was helping someone with a medication allergy, but instead, she'd helped save someone from what might have been a deliberate poisoning attempt. Lily, do you have any enemies? Anyone who might want to hurt you? Lily looked overwhelmed. I don't know. I mean, our family has a lot of money, so there are always people who resent us. And my mom's company has competitors who don't always play fair. But I never thought anyone would try to actually hurt me. We get threats sometimes, Victoria said after finishing her phone call. Mostly angry emails or letters from people who think successful businesses are evil. But nothing like this. Detective Rodriguez is on his way here. Maya realized she was now a witness in what might be a criminal investigation. Should I call my brother and let him know I'll be late getting home? Maya, you're not going anywhere, Victoria said firmly. You're the reason my daughter is alive right now. Whatever you need, whatever support you need, I'm going to make sure you have it. I appreciate that, but I really should get back to work. I'm probably already fired, but maybe if I explain... You're not going back to that restaurant, Victoria interrupted. At least not today. And probably not ever if I have anything to say about it. Before Maya could ask what she meant, Detective Rodriguez arrived. He was a tall man in his 40s with graying hair and a serious expression. After speaking with Dr. Patterson and getting the medical details, he turned to interview Lily and Maya. Miss Chen, I need you to walk me through everything you did today. Starting from when you woke up, Detective Rodriguez said, pulling out a notebook. Lily described her morning routine, the smoothie shop visit, and then coming to the restaurant for lunch. Maya provided details about what she'd observed at the restaurant and how Lily's condition had deteriorated. This smoothie shop, Detective Rodriguez said, Green Valley Smoothies. How often do you go there? This was only my second time, Lily said. I went there once last week and really liked it, so I decided to go back. Same order both times? No, last week I got a fruit smoothie. Today I specifically asked for their detox blend because I'd been feeling stressed lately. Detective Rodriguez made more notes. Who knew you were going there today? Lily thought for a moment. I posted about it on my social media this morning. I took a picture of the smoothie and posted it on Instagram with the location tag. Victoria groaned. Lily, we've talked about this. You can't just broadcast your location to the world. Anyone could have seen that post. I know. But all my accounts are private. Only my friends can see my posts. How many friends? Detective Rodriguez asked. About 300, I think. Maya watched the detective's expression and could tell he was thinking the same thing she was. 300 people was a lot of potential suspects. We'll need a list of everyone who follows your social media accounts, Detective Rodriguez said. And we'll need to test the remaining smoothie ingredients at Green Valley. If someone deliberately contaminated your smoothie, we need to figure out how they did it. Dr. Patterson interrupted the conversation. I'm sorry, but I need to discharge Miss Chen soon. She's medically stable, but I want her to follow up with her regular doctor tomorrow, and she should avoid any shellfish or shellfish-containing products for the next few weeks just to be safe. Can she go home? Victoria asked. Yes, but she should have someone with her for the next 24 hours just in case there are any delayed reactions. Victoria nodded. She'll be staying with me tonight, and I'm hiring private security immediately. Maya felt like everything was moving very fast. A few hours ago, she'd been a waitress having a normal Tuesday at work. Now she was involved in what might be an attempted murder case involving one of the city's wealthiest families. Maya, Lily said, reaching for her hand, I know this is all crazy and overwhelming, but I want you to know that what you did today, you didn't just save my life. You probably prevented whoever did this from getting away with it. If I died from this reaction, everyone would have assumed it was just a bad reaction to my new medication. Maya hadn't thought about that, but Lily was right. If Maya hadn't gotten her to the hospital in time for proper testing, no one would have known about the shellfish protein. The person who'd done this would have committed the perfect crime. The police will probably want to talk to you more tomorrow, Victoria said to Maya. And I want to talk to you too, about other things. But right now I think we all need to process what's happened. As the medical staff prepared Lily's discharge papers, and Detective Rodriguez finished his initial questioning, Maya realized her life had just changed in ways she couldn't even begin to understand. She'd saved someone's life, uncovered what might be an attempted murder, and somehow found herself connected to one of the most powerful families in the city. Because she'd noticed that a customer at her restaurant wasn't feeling well. 3 days after the incident at the hospital, Maya was sitting in the most luxurious office she'd ever seen, looking out at the city skyline through floor-to-ceiling windows. Victoria Chen's office occupied the entire top floor of the Chen Technologies building, and Maya felt completely out of place in her simple jeans and sweater. The police investigation had moved quickly. Detective Rodriguez had discovered that someone had indeed tampered with Lily's smoothie by adding concentrated shellfish extract to the protein powder. The smoothie shop's security cameras had caught a person in a hood and mask entering through the back door early that morning, before the shop opened. The case was still ongoing, but the police had several leads. Maya had spent the past 2 days being interviewed by detectives, reporters, and even FBI agents who were investigating whether this was connected to other threats against the Chen family. It was overwhelming and exhausting, but she'd cooperated fully, knowing that her testimony was crucial to catching whoever had tried to hurt Lily. I'm sorry to keep you waiting, Victoria said as she entered the office. I was on a call with Detective Rodriguez. They think they've identified the person from the security footage. Really? Who was it? Maya asked. A former employee who was fired 6 months ago for stealing company secrets. Apparently, he'd been making threats against our family ever since, but we didn't take them seriously enough. Victoria sat down across from Maya. The police think he chose Lily because she was the easiest target. He'd been following her social media posts and knew her routines. Maya shuddered. That's terrifying. Is Lily okay? I mean, emotionally. She's struggling a bit with the idea that someone wanted to kill her, but she's getting counseling to help her process it. And she's been asking about you constantly. Victoria smiled. She wants to know when she can see you again. I'd like to see her too, Maya said. I've been worried about her. That's actually part of why I asked you to come here today, Victoria said. I wanted to talk to you about your future. Maya felt nervous. My future? First, I want you to know that I called the manager at Golden Spoon and explained the situation. You're not fired. In fact, I may have convinced them to give you a raise and better schedule for being such a dedicated employee. Maya felt a wave of relief. She'd been worried about money and finding a new job. Thank you. That means a lot. But I'm hoping you won't need that job much longer, Victoria continued. I have a proposition for you. Maya waited, not sure what to expect. I've been thinking a lot about what happened that day at the restaurant. You saw someone in distress, and instead of just doing the minimum required by your job, you went above and beyond. You put yourself at risk to help a stranger. Victoria leaned forward. That kind of character is rare, Maya, and it's exactly what I look for in people I want to work with. Work with? Maya repeated. I'm offering you a position at Chen Technologies. Not just any position, but a role in our new community outreach and employee wellness program. We want to create programs that help people the way you helped Lily that day. Maya was stunned. But I don't have experience in that kind of work. I'm just a waitress taking community college classes. You have something more valuable than experience, Victoria said. You have genuine compassion and the ability to act quickly in a crisis. Those are things I can't teach someone, but I can teach you business skills and program management. What would the job involve? Maya asked, still trying to process the offer. You'd be working with our HR department to develop wellness programs for employees. Things like mental health resources, emergency response training, and community support initiatives. You'd also help us identify ways the company can give back to the community more effectively. Maya thought about her current life, working long hours at the restaurant, struggling to pay for her classes and her brother's medical bills, constantly worrying about money. What would the salary be? Victoria named a figure that was more than 3 times what Maya made at the restaurant. Maya's mouth fell open. That's more money than I've ever imagined making, Maya said honestly. And there are benefits too. Full health insurance for you and your family, tuition reimbursement for your college classes, and a flexible schedule so you can continue your education. Victoria paused. I also want to pay off your brother's medical debt and cover his ongoing treatment. Maya felt tears starting to form in her eyes. I can't accept that. It's too much. Maya, you saved my daughter's life. There's no amount of money that could repay that debt. But I can make sure that your kindness and quick thinking are rewarded, and that you have the resources to help other people the way you helped Lily. Maya wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. Why are you doing this? I mean, I know I helped Lily, but this seems like so much more than just a thank you. Victoria was quiet for a moment, looking out at the city skyline. Can I tell you something personal? Maya nodded. When I was about your age, I was in a similar situation. I was working multiple jobs, struggling to pay for school, trying to take care of my family. I felt like I was drowning most of the time. Victoria turned back to Maya. Someone gave me a chance. A business owner who saw potential in me and offered me an opportunity that changed my entire life. I promised myself that if I ever became successful, I would do the same for other people. And you think I have potential? Maya asked. I think you have more than potential. I think you have exactly the kind of heart and character that could make a real difference in people's lives. Victoria smiled. Plus, Lily has made it very clear that if I don't find a way to keep you in our lives, she's going to be very upset with me. Maya laughed, despite her emotional state. She said that? She said, and I quote, Maya is my hero. And if you don't hire her to work with us, I'm going to start my own company just so I can hire her myself. That sounds like something she would say, Maya said, remembering Lily's determination even when she was struggling to breathe. So what do you think? Victoria asked. Are you interested in taking a chance on a new career? Maya thought about all the possibilities this opportunity would open up. She could finish her degree without working multiple jobs. Her brother David could get the medical care he needed without the family going into debt. She could actually save money for the future instead of just surviving paycheck to paycheck. But more than that, she would be doing work that actually mattered, helping people, creating programs that could make a difference in others' lives. It was everything she'd hoped for but never thought was possible. Yes, Maya said, feeling a smile spread across her face. Yes, I'm very interested. Victoria stood up and extended her hand. Welcome to the Chen Technologies family, Maya. As Maya shook Victoria's hand, she thought about how much her life had changed in just a few days. A week ago, she was worried about making rent and paying for her brother's medication. Now she was starting a career that could change not just her life, but potentially the lives of many other people. It all started because she'd noticed a customer who didn't look well and decided to help. Maya realized that sometimes the smallest acts of kindness can lead to the biggest changes. Not just for the person you help, but for yourself as well. 6 months later, Maya was running Chen Technologies' community wellness program. which had already helped dozens of employees and community members get access to mental health resources and emergency medical training. She and Lily had become close friends, and Maya often found herself amazed at how a single moment of compassion had completely transformed her life. The person who had tried to poison Lily was convicted and sentenced to prison, and the Chen family had increased their security measures. But they hadn't let fear change who they were or how they interacted with the world. If anything, the experience had made them more committed to using their resources to help others. Maya still sometimes thought about that Tuesday afternoon when she'd been just a waitress cleaning tables and worrying about her tips. She'd made a choice to help someone in need, not knowing that person's identity or expecting anything in return. That choice had saved a life, solved a crime, and opened doors she never could have imagined. It was a reminder that you never know when an ordinary day might become extraordinary, or when a simple act of kindness might change everything.